I don't think I was ever happy. I never felt safe in these corporate jobs. I didn't have that feeling of I'm in charge of my life. One day, it was my turn, and they just out of the blue, sorry, you're laid off. And my wife was 7 months pregnant. I felt free for the first time since I was 15.
What's a big failure that you encountered in your life?
I'm 50. I only have this much time left. It affects you in ways you can't even see. And a lot of that is how you handle trauma. I was scared. Yeah. I was scared to take that step. That is the biggest step you have to make. This is what I've been waiting for all this time.
In this video, I'll be asking a 52-year-old about his biggest mistakes, most painful regrets, and his secrets to living a more fulfilling life. Now, if you've been watching our channel, you know that some of our guests definitely have higher profile than others. But Fred is about as low profile as you can find. He's a small town guy who worked a corporate job for over a decade and got fired when his wife was 7 months pregnant. And at that point, decided he needed to change things up to live out the rest of his years on his own terms. And he did. Fred's story offers a simple strategy, one that honestly anyone could apply, but that most of us don't know how to start. If you're ready for realistic, honest, and mind-blowing life advice, I think this will be the perfect video for you.
How old are you?
I am 52.
What does it feel like to be 52?
I think I spent a lot of my young life thinking about who I would be and how I would be when I was 50. Exactly. When that day came, I just kind of felt good where I was. I felt like I can be proud of who I am and all the things I've done and learn from all the stupid mistakes I made. And I felt pretty good. I still look forward. I think a lot of that probably is because I don't often remind myself I'm 50. I only have this much time left. I'm still plugging along. Obviously, I'm around other 50-year-olds, and some of them do not handle that arbitrary number well. They don't handle it well, and sometimes it shows up in kind of destructive behavior or thought patterns or things like that.
So what do you think you've done differently in your life to be 52 at this point, feel the way you feel versus the people who go through that crisis?
Negative things that happen in your life have a tendency to kind of stand out, and they outshine all the good things that happen. And I went and kind of handled it and, went to therapy and did all the things you're supposed to do to work through it. I don't know if everybody is willing to do that. I think there might even still be like a stigma about it. We talk about it a lot, but there's still a stigma about getting help to get over these small negative things that outshine everything else in your life.
For someone who doesn't know you, what do we need to know about your childhood and how you grew up to understand the person that we're speaking to today?
My father was very loving. He had the tough job of raising 5 kids. My mother was not in the picture. This is a black guy in the 70s. So I'm sure it was very difficult. I didn't understand that then, but I feel like I went through a lot of my life hearing other people's trauma. And they seem to be stuck on it. I used to knee-jerk reaction, well, let me share mine with you. And I think somewhere along the line that it's just dawned on me that it's like, it's not a contest. I don't want to out-trauma your trauma. I tried my best not to dwell on it because I would see people who did dwell on it. And it didn't seem to be the kind of person that I wanted to be.
When you talk about trauma, if you don't mind sharing, what is it that you are speaking about?
My family has substance abuse problems, tends to run like a fire through families. And whether that be alcoholism or overeating or drug abuse or any of those things, my particular situation was a lot of alcohol abuse. And, that touched me too. I was one of those people who thought, oh, I know alcoholics, so I can't possibly be one.
Right.
And, it took life to show you that it can affect anybody, and, it affected me, and I had to get a handle on it.
You became one?
I was one for a long time. I think I always was one. I had to get a handle on that before it, really destroyed your life, which it can do, and it has done to many people.
So you experienced it as a child with your father?
With my mother.
With your mother. What was that like?
It affects you in ways you can't even see. You grow up with a certain sort of programming in how you handle life. And a lot of that is how you handle trauma. So I had to eventually deal with that. I feel 100 times better now.
At what period in your life were you consider yourself an alcoholic, and when did you stop? I'm assuming you're not right now.
No. You always are, but no, not, I'm sober and clean. I honestly have to tell you, for as long as I can remember, teenage years until I was 40.
Wow.
So
what changed at 40?
it just is harder to live that sort of life. You know, it's harder to get up every day, and it's just difficult. And, you know, things start piling up. Thank goodness, you know, I didn't hurt myself or hurt anybody else or anything like that, but it's not compatible with life. Not if you want to have a good life.
What do you do for a living?
I am a graphic designer at heart. That has taken on many forms over the years. I've worked in the corporate world. I've worked for myself. Now I run a bunch of e-commerce apparel stores. More or less, I'm an entrepreneur. But I do that through graphic design.
Okay, so you were working in other jobs, you're in the corporate world, but now you're working for yourself. Did that come gradually? You just wanted to be an entrepreneur, or what happened there?
I don't think I was ever happy. I come from the generation that they told you, go to college, get a job, work it for 40 years, retire, and then start taking vacations.
And we're still there.
Yeah, I think we are still there. I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to the alternative. But I went in these jobs, and I did play that corporate game, and I'm very good at it. So I was rising through the ranks. I was the liaison to the VP of a global corporation, and I never felt safe in these corporate jobs, which I probably could have worked at forever, but I didn't have that feeling of I'm in charge of my life. It just always bugged me in the back of my mind until one day it was my turn, and they just out of the blue said, well, you know, sorry, you're laid off. And my wife was 7 months pregnant. So I had a little bit of panic, but then they said, we're going to give you a severance package. And it clicked in my mind. This is what I've been waiting for all this time. So I went off on my own.
How old were you at that time?
32.
Take me back to that moment. What are you thinking about? Like, how do you figure your life out?
When that happened, I felt relief. I always thought I would feel terror, but I felt relief. And I could see in the window as I'm walking my box out, they're kind of peeking through the window. I think I was smiling from ear to ear like I had never done before because I felt free. I felt free for the first time. And, you know, I worked since I was 15.
So the business that you do now, what is it actually logistically?
Logistically, it's what I've always done, sell T-shirts. I sell T-shirts directly to consumers. I think I like this better because I have a direct connection to my customers. I see directly what they like.
So this is print on demand?
Yeah.
Printing on demand, so no overhead costs. You're running an online business you can do from anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
You love what you do?
I do love what I do.
You love what you do?
It's difficult, but I love what I do.
And you make a full-time living.
I do.
Comfortably, and you have a family, and it works.
House, and I'm not scared, and I'm not having heart attacks every other day. It's the real thing. It really is. And there's some technical aspects to it, but the general idea is that you can start and do this from anywhere.
Have you been looking to start a simple side hustle or add an extra stream of income? Check out Printify, the sponsor of today's video. Now, whether you want to sell t-shirts like Fred, mugs, tote bags, or more, and you don't want to have to deal with inventory, Printify handles the printing and the shipping for you so you can focus on creating and earning no matter how old you are. For example, I recently went on Printify where I recreated the art that you see right behind me by uploading my design and customizing it, getting a sample, and then launching it on our Shopify store by simply connecting the platforms to each other. In fact, if you want to check out the art, you can even click the link in the description. Now, whether you're looking for a side hustle or a business, sign up to Printify and start now. You can even use the link that is in our description to sign up and use the coupon code Sprought to get a free 30-day Printify premium subscription. And only the first 1,000 people are going to get this opportunity, so act fast. All right. Back to the video.
I think a lot of people are too afraid to even get started out of fear that they will fail and people will judge them for it and that negative cycle. How do you approach it? Because you've probably been through a lot at this point.
I understand that because that is what held me back. I always had the technical ability. I had all the training in the world. I had the drive. What stopped me from doing it is I was scared. I was scared to take that step. You say, oh my God, you know, what are you doing? This is not what you've been taught to do, which is go to work and work that job for 40 years and hope they give you a watch when you retire. That is the biggest step you have to make. It really is. You have to just do something and you will probably fail. This sort of business is one failure after another. It's one failure after another.
I feel that way about mine too.
Yeah. And as I'm sure you know, the way you succeed is you learn from each one of those failures. It is one failure a week, and you need to learn from them.
So you said you're married?
Yes.
You've been married for how long?
I have been married 27 years. Yes.
Wow.
But we have been together for almost 30 years, coming up on 30 years.
What's the secret? If you had to boil it down.
I think the secret to that is people that I see break up. When you get down to it, what happened is they took each other for granted. You say, when I get married, I'm never going to be like that. Well, a tape starts playing and you say, I think my wife should be like this. And I think a husband should do this. And I think that sabotages them. You have to treat the person you love like you love them, but not like they always have to be there. You know, you have to think about what your life would be without them. Being married is about giving to the other person, the ultimate, over yourself, which is hard for a lot of people to do. And I'm not standing here like I'm a master at it. I have those same flaws, but I try to remember that all the time. Like, I love this woman and I want her to be happy over my happiness. I think a lot of us sabotage ourselves because we are kind of, well, at least my generation, are kind of raised to think there is one person on this planet for me. So when you happen to come across somebody that you like and you gel with, you might not be compatible, but your fear of losing your one person on this planet will make you stick it out longer than maybe you should have. So by the time you stuck it out, now you got a house and kids. And that's a tough way to break up with somebody. You should be with somebody who is compatible with you, but also where you fail, they are strong. Where I may be anxious, my wife, she will walk up to anyone and talk to anyone. And she is not, she's not anxious at all. So like a partnership, like let's say a business, if you will, where I have weaknesses, she is strong. Where she has weaknesses, I am strong.
Can you define the word love for me?
I think that really boils down to putting someone over yourself. Nobody wants to say it, but you love yourself more than anybody. When you meet somebody in the world that you put over yourself, that is love. It really is. And it can show up in a million different ways.
What is a truth about life that you've learned over 52 years that you wish more people understood?
I think our point in life, when you look at it on the most basic level, it is to take care of each other. I don't think it comes natural. I think you have to practice like everything else. I think the people who practice that look back on their life and they have found that they lived a fulfilling life. I think people who looked out for themselves only may have everything that they thought they wanted, and at the end of their life, I think they always have the same regret that I don't really have anything for real, meaning other people, meaning connections with other people. I didn't realize it at the time. I thought my father was too nice to people. I thought he gave too much. I thought, well, what about us? What about your family? You're out, trying to help people in the community, and you're trying to help homeless people, and you're trying to do all these things for all these other people. What about us? And I didn't get it. Now, when I look at it, I strive to be more like that. I understand that is the mark of a good human being. It seems like a small thing, but to care about others more than yourself is what we're really here for. And it took a while for me to understand that, and I still can't live up to that, but I try. Saying hello, being nice, just how's your day? Just those kind of human interactions. I think that is the measure of who you are. That is kind of what you leave behind. It doesn't always have to be saving the world and climate change and helping all the homeless in the world. Sometimes it's how you treat just the average person that you meet, just going a little extra mile to be a little bit kinder than you normally would be.
I will grab our 1% journal here. So you wrote down your entry here. I'd love if you could share one thing that you're grateful for.
I'll go with the 1% better today. My number one is to try to be authentic. Try my best to be me. I don't want to rehearse things. I don't want to try to say, here's these wonderful platitudes and all that. This is what I truly feel, and I hope it comes across that way. Number two is to be helpful. that's a kind of personal mission of mine. I want to be helpful to those that I can be. My third one is to be brave. Like I said, I deal with a lot of anxious feelings. I try my best not to dwell on those things. I don't want to cower away. I want to try to be a brave person and try to put myself out there. I think that is the joy in life. And I think people who are extroverted, I do look at them like, I wish I could be more like that. Some of them are irritating, but, as an introvert, that's something I strive to do. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid and learn from it. And even if you fail or if it doesn't go well, it's not always going to go great. It's better when you put yourself out there. Life is better when you put yourself out there.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
You're the best. Thank you.
Great talking to you.